We're both awkward on tape. Okay guys, first technical point or technical lesson in our COVID-19, I'm not used to talking to people, I don't know what to do. Anyways, you're gonna be looking at some setups for the cross choke. I'm going to show two options. Now the technical point I want you guys to be thinking about, if your goal, if your main point of attack from mount is the cross choke, you want to be thinking about if anybody's lifted shingles before, or shoveling, but where you don't want to dig down, where we want to elevate and lift something. You don't want to be pushing too far over top of the handle because you're going to dig straight down. So we're going to be thinking about keeping everything shallow and then driving through, or think like a shallow dive where you're going to try and cut through. So if I get Amanda here, who is so nice to come in and risk exposure, mount here, let's see, hopefully everything's on tape. So first one that we're going to look at is the palm up version of the technique. So palm up on your dominant arm. Big thing when you're fighting for the lapels, if I'm too tall and I'm trying to set everything up from here on top, you're going to be really offsetted with the bump and roll and everything. So we're going to base with our non-dominant hand to make sure that we have that base set. But key thing again, remember that shovel. Now I'm going to have to over exaggerate this because Amanda is a little bit shorter than me, which is going to force me higher on her chest. So again, a little bit of an exaggeration. But if I put my hand down and I want to get a deep grip here, I have to make sure that my weight isn't falling too far onto that arm, because now she goes directly into my hips and starts to push and hip escape, or not even the bump and roll, but just feet, hands to the hips, and then basically just big hip escape out. It's going to be an easy escape. So I have to really think about keeping my hips low, or again, if you think of that shovel, I need to make sure that that handle is as low as I can to help lift and scoop. Pull you back a bit. So when my hand goes down for base, I'm going to really try and drop my hips and keep my weight sitting back towards her hips, and my outside leg, whichever side my dominant arm is on, needs to really be tucked in tight to control that hip so she doesn't scoot out. So palm up, I go through, and again that nice shallow dive in to set my first grip. Now remember, whenever we're dealing with a choke from mount, any movement she does is going to pull her gi back down her back and then make it hard to get this grip in. So I set my grip as deep as I can, and I'm going to use the leverage of her chest over her collarbone to help pull, or use her collarbone as a fulcrum to help pull that gi out, and then also it helps lift the chin. The more pressure that I put onto her chest almost puts you into like puking position and force that chin up, which will help with getting your grips out. Now if you still feel like I just can't get a good dominant grip, or again my wrist is too torqued over, it's not able to curl, then just lift the person and shake a couple times. Lift the person and shake, and when you guys are rolling, it's easy to set this up. Now once I feel like I've got that grip in deep, my wrist is turning, thumb behind her neck and pulling tight, rolling my knuckles towards my face. I'm going to slowly slide over the top. You notice my hip position, I'm not elevating, and I'm not sliding up, because again, the focus is on the choke. I'm gonna rotate through and then catch, think dragging your fingernails at the last part of that slide to catch on the trap. So again, got the grip, shook a little bit, use the fulcrum of the collarbone and chest to get it tight, slide over, and then at the last part here, drag the fingernails until I can catch as low on the trap as I possibly can. Okay, that nice ruffle, don't go for the lapel. Now, for the application of the technique, if we're talking about realism, when I'm here, I don't want to posture and grab, because this is where she's going to bump, this is where she's going to slap your arm, this is where you're going to start to lose balance. If I were trying to adjust to the arm bar or technical mount, that wouldn't be a problem. But if I want to get it, I'm going to keep my head low, even posting here, so I constantly have a source of base, and I'm staying as low and tight to the mat the entire time. Now for the finish, when we have that palm up grip, it's the best grip for the actual application of the pressure on the arteries. So what we're going to look to do is curl our knuckles towards us, rip the back of the gi, and I'm going to try and bring my elbows towards my hips, or if you think towards my butt, and then they flare just at the end of the position. So without the actual grip set, when I'm down here, curl, my elbows go towards, and then they flare out at the end. Don't go wide, even though you can get away with it being in mount. So one last time. Again, nice base. I've set my weight over top of her hips. You can grapevine the legs if you want, although I don't prefer to do that. Palm up grip, again, think shallow. Slide up, shake, strong grips, use the fulcrum. Heavy, heavy, heavy. Slide through. Start to get your head into position. Fingernails, grip, and then apply the choke. So again, that's the palm up variation. Now, way easier grip to get, palm down. So again, we're still dealing with my right arm, which is the dominant. Same thing, hand, thumb in, and then on this one here, I can walk my grip back. Set your fingers, pull the thumb. Set your fingers, pull the thumb, and then you can still use that idea of the fulcrum. So boom here, walk it until you feel like your pinky can't reach any deeper, and you stop feeling that the lapel is being pulled towards you. Remember, first grip is the important one to be tight. Now from here, I can do the exact same thing, except instead of trying to sit low, I'm going to fall forward and use my forearms to elevate the chin on this one, because it's very tough to get a proper angle on your wrist when you're going palm down grip. So again, I'm going to start low, do the exact same thing, but then when I go for the choke, instead of sitting back and pulling my elbows through like we did before, I'm going to fall more over her so I get a better pull. Okay, the other one though that we like is to angle back, and I'm going to give her a little bit of room here. So instead of staying tight, 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 heavy on the chest, base, elevate the chin, and then now, while kind of staying off to the side, I'm going to sneak my other hand palm up with my non-dominant grip to the inside of the lapel. If I try and do this from directly on top, if we just turn it, you're going to hit a lot of resistance. Again, I posture myself up a little bit too much. So I stay low, I'm going to open up her neck with my forearm, so it's just think windshield wiper across the chest, elevate, and then again palm up, and then happy butterfly, flutters in, and then as soon as I get that, I just collapse onto the side that I'm already on with my head swinging towards her, and then it's the same finish that we did on the first technique. So there's your 3 setups to focus on the cross choke or finishing the cross choke. Just quickly, same details, but if I want to try and link into a triple attack or like cross choke to armbar, key lock, all that kind of stuff, mounted triangle, any options that you want from mount, I'm going to allow my hips to fall forward. So I start low, but then when I start thinking about actually setting up the attack, I'm going to allow my hips to lever from here to here forward, which is going to help shovel her elbows high, or I just have to keep a little bit of pressure on her face, so make the choke a bit dirty, which is going to elicit a response from her, which is going to be a little bit overemphasized on the arms. She may bump, which may even help you lever forward, but if she starts to defend her neck now or fight the arms, that's where we're going to start to transition to technical mount, S mount, and getting on top here. Ooh, I gotta scrub my feet. It's been the mats haven't been doing the job. So from here, I always want to be staying tight, tight, tight on the neck, climbing up, because as soon as I give up on my attack on the neck or take away the threat, then she focuses back on her arm. She's going to shimmy forward, shoulder walk, elbows tight, and then I may lose everything. So again, if I want to go for these attacks, palm up or palm down, if I know I'm going to be attacking the arms, I prefer palm down on my first grip. So that when I'm here again, I give her a little bit extra space, attack, so she starts to defend her neck, slide into position, and then here's the opportunity to step through and go for those other attacks. I have no idea if we're in frame anymore, but hopefully that was a good answer. It's recording.